Hi, today I'm going to talk to you about answering a question that I've been getting a lot lately from people who are texting me and emailing me. Most of the questions that I get are, what's the most important thing for me to learn first? So today I'm going to talk to you about an exercise that I feel if you learn this piece of paper, the PDF that you'll be able to download, or it's on page 25 of my first aid chord kit book that you can get on sacmusicgroup.com. Our catalog is on there. And page 25 is called 5-Finger Scale Chord Exercise. So today I'm going to show you what's really super important. If you learn this, you're well on your way to making the chords very simple. Okay, this exercise is really simple, but I wish I would have learned it. My teacher way back when called them triads. Tri meaning three. So I knew triads and I knew arpeggios. I thought they were fun. She never told me what to do with them. She never called them a chord. So consequently, I didn't learn chords till I got to college. And when Mr. Spraker, with his little dog, who used to work in the store I worked in, I used to be a piperette out on the mall, playing the little Hammond pipers. Anyway, that's how I started. And he asked me one day if I knew chords, and I said no. And I couldn't even play the little Hammond piper because you had to play chords to make the left hand work. So he told me, he said, well, don't you know triads? And I said, well, yeah, I know the triads. He goes, well, that's just a chord. So over the years of teaching, people have asked me, what should be the first thing that I learn to play the chords? And my little kids that I teach, they learn this from day one. The very first lesson, they put their fingers on C, and they go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they learn their finger numbers, they learn the names of the first 5 notes, and they coordinate both hands. So after that, we work our way up the keyboard, and then they learn the black note 5-finger notes too. So the pattern, and there's a pattern for scales, and this is just the first 5 notes of the scale. From whatever note you play, it's a whole note, and a whole note, and a half note. Sorry, it's not a note, it's a step, and a whole step. C, whole step, half step, whole step. Okay? Every single one you can make with that pattern. G, whole step is A, whole step is B, half step is C, whole step is D. If I play a D scale, D, E is a whole step, F sharp is a whole step, G is a half, and A is a whole. Okay, so 2.5 and a whole. Okay, and the rest of the scale is 2.5, 3.5 if you want to keep going. And we'll talk about that in a different lesson. All right, so all you have to do now is look at page 25 in my chord book or download the PDF that you see, and we're going to start with C. Then that's a C chord in the root position. D, E, and sometimes you hear people warming up to these, or a singer will warm up. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, and then I can't sing. Okay? Then you can practice just the chords. Or you can roll them. Hold the damper pedal down, sounds really pretty. And if you go backwards, so So it's just all kinds of things that you can do to learn the chords. The most important thing is to learn how to spell the chord. C chord, C, E, G. So say it. D chord, D, F sharp, A. You have to know the content of the chord as far as what the letter name is. And you'll find out later, the more you do that right now with this exercise, the better, the easier everything's going to get. So all of that is in my chord book, and we talk about inversions and all of that. But right now, this lesson, that's what I want you to spend your time doing, okay? Now, I'm in the process, most of the videos that I made on YouTube, the ones that you don't see here in my living room, I made in a classroom when I was the manager of a piano and organ store. And we had classes every week with sometimes up to 60 people in them. And the earlier videos that you see on YouTube were done in that store. The videos that we made that went with the chord book and this book that I'm really proud of, Everything You Need to Know to Play the Piano, were done there. And the videos that go with them are not on YouTube. They go with the books. So this book I wrote because I got really tired of telling people they had to buy 6 different books to get information about theory, music theory, and just how to play the piano. Or it applies to guitars, it applies to everything. It's just music theory. And so I put it all in one book. So when I'm teaching, I can just refer to my own book instead of having to dig through piles of music to get the answers that I need. The only thing that I have not done is I made a set of videos, and I did 2 very long classes when we were doing group lessons. They were a lot of fun. I like these old ones because we were in a classroom situation and laughing and having fun. So a lot of you like watching that. But now I'm going to update it. I don't think I'm going to change, well, I probably will change these. But I'm going to write a book that explains these in print. So pretty soon you're going to be able to see me write the book while we do the videos. So each chapter I will do the video, save it, and give you all the information on how to use the circle. The circle explains everything. Where chords go, how they're formed, where a 7th chord goes, progressions, transposing, everything. And they're all explained in my first aid chord book, but when you see them on the circle, and there's a lot of books out with circles, but I don't know about you, but I'll bet not very many of you have ever really understood it. So I'm going to make a concerted effort to try and explain it to you so you can understand it without getting all confused with all the theory and everything else that they say you have to know. Not the case. All right, so remember this week, that is the most important exercise for you to do. So download the PDF, or you can buy my books. I have a book on how to play by ear with no music. If you're overseas and you're watching this video, please try to do the PDFs. It's getting impossible to get our books delivered. Sometimes it's 5 to 6 weeks. So if you want just the PDF of the book and you're overseas, I would suggest you do that. In the US, we're fine. So check out what we have. And Patreon, we've done a series on playing with an attitude without much aptitude. We're also using this book called Accelerated Piano Adventures by Faber, Book 1, lesson book, and it says for the older beginner. You can buy this on Amazon, and we're starting with I don't know anything about piano, and it's like me sitting next to you. We do a lesson, and we'd go through the pages one by one, and sometimes more than one by one. But I like this book. You will really, and then I use my books as supplements sometimes too. So go to Patreon. If it's fun, and you can just sit down and pretend I'm in your living room. So thanks for listening. Have a great week. Okay, coming up I'm going to be doing videos on the circle, but I want to take a minute just to thank you all for watching my videos and supporting me. It all started out as something for my class. One of my students wanted to record what I was doing because he said he couldn't remember what he learned by the time he got home. And then other people in my class started asking him to post it so they could watch and remember what I talked about while they were at the lesson. And then all of a sudden, I realized that when he posted on YouTube, people all over the world could see it. So I just want to thank you all very much. It's turned into just so much satisfaction for me hearing from you and learning about how my style has helped you, and it's easy to understand, and that's kind of what's been my forte. I had a lot of teachers that didn't really teach me much because they were so busy trying to show off how much they knew. Anyway, I just play for fun, and I'm serious about teaching people how to play to just enjoy their music and to sit down and just make music without a lot of effort. So go back over the videos. Go to Patreon if you're a beginner or you know someone who's a beginner. I wouldn't start with a child on that series on Patreon, but if you know adults that say, I've always wanted to play, send them to the Patreon channel and have them subscribe, and they can get a lesson with just every week. All right? So thank you all for joining me. We appreciate you all so much, and enjoy where you're at on the way to where you're going.